Hello, folks. Welcome to another episode of Cutter One. I am your host, Jay Just Jay, and thank you for joining me this evening. All right, so you ever have one of those moments where you're just like, God damn it, I hate this shit. I hate this shit with a passion. That's where I'm at right now. Um, Saw this article today, and yeah, Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power Season 2 won't address fan feedback, say creators. God, I'm hating these guys more and more every day. Creators J.D. Payne and Patrick McKay discuss why The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power Season 2 won't incorporate much audience feedback. Oh boy. All right. So let's see. What do we got here? So it says The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power creators J.D. Payne and Patrick McKay explain why season 2 won't incorporate any feedback from fans. Debuting on Prime Video last month, The Rings of Power chronicles the rise of dark forces in Middle Earth during the Second Age. The series, which is based on the works of British author J.R.R. Tolkien, bullshit, is set thousands of years before the events of Peter Jackson's acclaimed The Lord of the Rings movies. Widely considered to be one of the most expensive TV shows ever made, The Rings of Power Season 1 consists of 8 episodes, with Season 2 already in production in the UK. The Season 1 finale to The Rings of Power features a number of exciting revelations, including the reveal that Halbrand, Charlie Vickers, is actually the Dark Lord Sauron. Bullshit. I mean, yes, that is what the show is saying, but that's not lore accurate. Not only that, but it was also revealed that the stranger, Daniel Wayman, is an Istar. I suppose that would be correct because they were called the Istari. So I guess if you had just one, he would be an Istar. All right. The same race as wizards like Gandalf and Saruman. Again, this is somebody. The Istari are not a race. If you wanted to, I guess the closest thing to race that they Maiar would be their race. They're like low level angels. All right, for those who may not know the lore, you basically have Eru Iluvatar. He's like sort of like the one god. He creates everything, and then you have sort of the the Valar, um, who are like, think of like the archangels. So you have Manwë and Alue and Yavanna, um, and they're sort of think in, like Gabriel, Michael, you know, uh, uh, Azrael, like angels on that level. And Melkor slash Morgoth was one of them. So he's like the like devil, like Lucifer type level. And then you had like their assistants with which were the Maiar. So it's sort of like a hierarchy that they're like the low level ones, and the Maiar are the sort of like angelic assistants, and that's what Gandalf and Saruman and the Istari are. They are Maiar. So are the Balrogs. So when you see that scene in the Peter Jackson films, or you read that part in the book with Gandalf and the Balrog in Moria, it's almost like two low level angels going at it. The Balrog are the Maiar that chose to follow Morgoth, um, and Gandalf is a Maiar that obviously, wasn't persuaded and stuck with Eru Iluvatar and the Valar. Um, so yeah, um, so technically speaking, Sauron is also a Maiar, um, because it's Morgoth who is the Valar, and Sauron was his lieutenant, was a Maiar that was corrupted into following him. So just to put a little perspective on it, so they're Istari is not a race, as far as I can, as far as I know. Despite many aspects of season one proving generally popular, The Rings of Power has been the subject of intense debate online, with many fans not liking how Payne and McKay have adapted Tolkien's source material. No shit, because they're shitting all over it. The Rings of Power season 1 currently holds an 82% approval rating on Rotten Tomatoes. Yeah, by the critics, not with audiences. But some critics have pointed out that the show's pacing and narrative momentum has room for improvement. In a recent interview with Vulture, creators J.D. Payne and Patrick McKay discussed their approach to fan feedback heading into The Lord of the Rings of Power Season 2, while acknowledging that Season 2 will incorporate many of their own learnings from making Season 1. Fan feedback hasn't necessarily factored into their approach. Check out comments from Payne and McKay below. J.D. Payne, quote, "We're certainly listening to the critics and to our audiences. You don't want to give any one voice too much weight, but figure out what people are responding to in the aggregate. I don't know if I want to point to any specifics," unquote. Patrick McKay, quote, "The immediate reaction to that question is no. Not that we aren't paying attention to the response the show is having. I don't know how you could shut it out. But the second season has been written for some time now, and the storytelling grows and goes in different directions. That is informed by what we learned on season 1 on our own. There are things that seem to really work and others that didn't work as well as we might have hoped. The storytelling will be different next time, not because of the response to the show. Let me repeat that. Not because of the response to the show, but because of the experience of making the show for us," unquote. So, in essence, what they are saying is fuck you to the fans. We don't care. We're getting paid to do this. We're going to do it our way. I mean, they just said it, not because of the response to the show. So, why the Rings of Power season 1 divided fans? While there have been many legitimate criticisms regarding season 1, it can't be ignored that The Rings of Power was the subject of intense criticism before its first episode even aired. The decision to cast black actors in elf and Harfoot roles quickly sparked a racist backlash. Bullshit and fuck you. The fans were not being racist. The fans were pointing out facts. Um, which prompted a number of original The Lord of the Rings actors to defend the Rings of Power cast. I don't care. I don't care about Billy Boyd or Sean Astin or Viggo Mortensen or Liv Tyler. I don't care about their opinions, okay? They didn't write The Lord of the Rings. They were actors in a film adaptation of it. So they're it means nothing to me, okay? The reality is Tolkien laid out what these characters are supposed to look like. You actively went against it. Period. End of story. That doesn't make me racist. That makes me pointing out facts. Let's see, where were we? Outside of this non-constructive form of backlash, yes, because when Tolkien describes his elves as semi-ethereal and fair of skin and fair in beauty and appearance, and you decide like I'm gonna make them black, like you see on the screen with the perfect fade, like where did that come from? You know, and so your elves no longer look like elves. There's nothing separating them from the average guy, human down the street, other than pointy ears. Yeah, I'm gonna point that out. And you can say that that's non-constructive because it upsets your politically correct narrative, and so, but it's the reality. Okay, Tolkien did not include black elves. He described what elves look like. What you're seeing on screen ain't it. The Rings of Power has also been criticized for genuine narrative issues and some episodes' seemingly trivial plot lines as they relate to the overarching story being told. For as much criticism as the show receives, however, The Rings of Power has also garnered a passionate fan base. Considering its massive budget, the show has managed to bring the world of Middle-earth to life in a way that rivals Jackson's Lord of the Rings trilogy. Again, bullshit. No, it doesn't. It looks like shit. It looks like this is like, the adventures of Hercules, Xena warrior princess level look to it. It does not look like Peter Jackson's films. I'm sorry. Not even close. Not even close. The series is also evidently drawing heavily from Tolkien's works. In particular, his themes regarding the power of hope and the ability of ordinary folk to generate big changes. Um, it remains to be seen how the Lord of the Rings of Power, will evolve in season two, but it's clear that McKay and Payne are very much have their own plan and they're sticking to. Again, yeah, a big fu to the fans. So discard anything that the fans say, anything that the fans tell you is wrong about what you're doing. Doesn't fucking matter. Fuck them. They need to shut up. They're all racists and phobes anyway. We're gonna do it our way. We're gonna have Feminem and the Nazgirls and multi-ethnic elves, in a story written by a white guy. It's supposed to be a mythology for England and the British people. But, screw all that crap. We're going to do it our way. What do the fans know? Anyway, I just thought I would share that with you folks. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Remember to hit the like button. Please subscribe because it helps the channel, and share the video if you feel so inclined. I am your host, JJSJ, and I will see you on the next one. Peace out.